What's going on, guys? It's FaZe Simp here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my own thoughts on Major 1. I was just going to give my opinions on, how some of the matchups are going, what my expectations are for the tournament, and overall just my thoughts on, Major 1. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright guys, so going into Major 1, I think we did a really good job of using our first 5 league matches and actually getting a decent seed / winners advantage from it. Because there are, not every team makes winners, and if you're already starting to losers, it's already a pretty bad hole to start in, just because you don't have that safety net. You don't have the safety of having a chance to lose and, talk about your mistakes quickly and adapt to the event and, just get better. I feel like you have the one and done chance, and that's kind of it. Overall, there are a lot of pretty decent matches first round of this tournament. You have us versus Breach, you got Optic versus Surge, you got the Ravens versus Gorillas, and you got the Thieves versus Ultra. And this is just winners rounds, but in my opinion, these are all pretty decent first, round ones, I guess, like winners round ones, because I feel like there's a lot of these teams that can make a winners final or like actually make a decent run. So it's crazy that so some of these teams got to go out of winners, so it's just crazy how fast it's gonna go. So honestly, for our FaZe versus Breach match, I'm super confident going into it. We already played them during the season, and I think we're way stronger than we were then, just because of the practice that we have had leading up to this event. So I think we're super confident to beat Breach and kind of, end up in winners round 2 against an Optic or Surge, where I feel like will probably be one of the hardest matches that we are gonna have this tournament, if we do end up beating Breach. I don't know who I'd rather prefer, Cdl or Optic. I feel like Cdl has a lot to prove this event just because of how they recently been performing, but I think people are underrating them now that they've kind of lost a couple matches. And yeah, they could have lost a couple game 5s, but they also, I feel like, I don't know, it's hard to say it, but like as a player, I feel like they're still a team to worry about. So I mean, either way, if we're playing Optic, it's gonna be a crazy match. If we're playing Cdl, it's gonna be a crazy match. Especially since the Optic's event, it's gonna be crazy if it's gonna be an Optic versus FaZe winners round 2. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully the fans go crazy for that one. But then you get the on the other side of winners, you have Royal Ravens versus Gorillas and Thieves versus Ultra. And honestly, I feel like Royal Ravens have been a team that's kind of been, they haven't been a sleeper because they've honestly been performing pretty well, but I feel like just because of their name, like the Ravens, kind of like how Cdl was until they performed good at the kickoff, like they kind of just have a negative connotation to them because of how they performed in the last year. So I think they have a pretty good team system going on right now, and I feel like they could definitely be a force to beat. But they are also playing Gorillas, and I think Gorillas has a really good chance of beating them just because I think Gorillas has a lot of good teamwork too. And just from the scrims, I think they've been getting a lot better as time is going on. But the last winners match that is probably going to end up being the craziest one outside of the Optic versus Surge, like the first winner round 1 is LA Thieves versus Toronto Ultra. And we already kind of got this match during the season, I'm pretty sure. But I think this match is going to be an absolute banger. I think both these teams have a lot to put on the table for this match, and I think we're going to start seeing the skill gap start to take off, I guess you could say, like develop, I guess. Like how last year, like in Cold War, we were miles ahead of everyone. I don't think it's going to be like that this year, but I do think there are going to be teams ahead of others. So I think after Major 1, we're going to see a lot of these teams kind of just have a skill gap that they've made that teams are gonna have to try and catch up with. But outside of those winners matches, the 4 teams and losers are the Florida Mutineers. You got Paris, you got Rocker, and you got Subliners. And honestly, I think the only team that surprises me that is here is the Rocker, just because I feel like they've had a decent run of stage 1 matches, but I also feel like I think they went 2 and 3. So if you're not gonna have a winning record, you probably shouldn't be in winners. But with all the Fugees head tiebreakers, they probably could have ended up in winners too. But I think if there's any team that is going to make a run out of losers, it'll probably be the Minnesota Rocker or, you know, Florida out of nowhere. Those guys love to just turn up out of nowhere and look godlike. So if there were teams to probably make it deep into a tournament, I'd probably have to guess it'd be like us, Optic, probably, or like the top teams right now. I guess the top teams I'd have to say right now are probably us, Optic, Ultra, and Thieves. I'd have to say top 4. I think Seattle has, they can probably fight for that top 4 spot. I think, you know, we haven't scrimmed them because we're probably gonna, or not probably, but we might play them. You know, we have a pretty good chance. So I don't know how much better they've gotten, but you know, they, like I said before, they definitely aren't as bad as people think they are now. Just because, you know, they won a couple game 5s and lost a couple matches doesn't mean they're the worst team now. I think they'll get it together for this major, and I think they'll have a lot to prove, like I said, for a lot of these teams. So there isn't really a lot to say about any losers matches because the winners matches kind of have to happen for the losers matches to happen. But I mean subliners might get rounded low-key. They're playing the loser of LAT and Toronto. They might just get slammed out of the tournament unless they step it up, because those are two teams you do not want to be playing round 1 of losers. Same with Paris. You know, they play the loser of Texas and Seattle, and like I said, those are two teams you don't want to be on the receiving end of a loss, because those teams are going to be fighting for their lives, and it's going to be a scary sight when teams of that caliber are, you know, backs against the wall. So, you know, Florida too. I feel like Florida has a pretty decent chance of getting slammed out of the tournament too, just because they have to play us or Breach. I think Breach is a team that matches up with Florida well, just because of I guess how their maps go. I think Breach has a pretty decent map pool right now for a couple of these teams, and I think Florida might have a decent, or not decent chance. Florida might have a pretty bad chance of getting under losers round 1 just because of that. And you know, if they have to play us, if we end up losing the Breach, then I mean, that's self-explanatory why they gotta be scared, man. It's fucking Atlanta FaZe. The last loser round of Londoner LAG versus Rocker. I think Rocker, like I said before, has a pretty good chance of making a losers run. So I think if they have to play, or I mean, either of these teams I think Rocker can probably beat. I think Rocker just has to steal a respawn away, because I feel like that's been their biggest downfall. If they can win a hardpoint, I think they can win most of their series. So you know, hopefully they've been stepping it up and they can prove this event. But anyways, guys, that's going to be about all the matches I can really talk about, because I don't really know what's going to happen outside of round 1. But hopefully you guys are excited for the major as I am. I mean, I'm just super excited to be back with the fans, to be back playing on LAN, and I mean, I don't know, this is going to be a super fun time. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like on it. If you're after major 1, drop a like on the video. If you're new here, make sure you sub to the channel, and I will see you guys after major 1. Peace.